We left Leh knowing this road wasn't fully awake yet. It was late June, but the Himalayas don't run on calendars. Winter still had its grip on the high passes, and everyone in town was talking about road conditions. Who got through, who turned back, where the ice was worst. That uncertainty was part of the pull. As we rolled out of Leh, the landscape was wide and deceptively calm. The Indus Valley stretched out below us, dry and sunlit, almost gentle, a reminder that Ladakh can look peaceful right up until it decides not to be. The road was familiar at first. Open stretches, thin air, that steady hum of the engine at altitude. But even early on, there were signs that this wouldn't be an easy crossing. Snowbanks appeared where they shouldn't have been in June. Meltwater ran straight across the asphalt, turning sections of road into shallow rivers. And the further we rode, the more winter began to reassert itself. This wasn't a ride you rushed. You read the road constantly, the color of the ice, the texture of the gravel, the way the wind moved snow dust across the surface. Every curve felt like a question. Is this solid? Or is this about to slide? As we gained altitude, the temperature dropped fast. The snow wasn't decorative anymore. It lined the road in walls. In places, it was the road. Ice covered the shaded sections completely, forcing us to slow to a crawl, feet down, bikes inching forward like they were learning to walk again. This is where the Himalayas strip things back. No phone signal, no services, just the engine, the cold, and the awareness that mistakes up here don't come with easy fixes. At the higher passes, the world narrowed to white, rock, and sky. The silence was intense, broken only by wind and the distant sound of other engines struggling uphill. This was still very much winter terrain, even if the calendar said otherwise. Some stretches were beautiful in a brutal way. Fresh snow glittering under harsh sun. Blue sky so clear it almost felt artificial. And then, without warning, ice, slush, and loose gravel all competing for traction at once. Water crossings were everywhere. Meltwater poured down the mountainsides, cutting straight across the road, carrying stones with it. You didn't stop for long. You didn't linger. You picked a line and committed. There's a particular sound tires make on wet ice. Muted, uncertain. You learn to recognize it quickly. This wasn't about speed. It was about patience, about keeping the bike upright, about knowing when to push and when to wait. Occasionally we passed trucks, massive, scarred machines, inching their way up or down, drivers leaning out to judge clearance. When one passed, you felt very small. Out here, everyone depends on the road, but no one controls it. Not long after one of the icy sections, we came across a car overturned on the side of the road. No flashing lights, no crowd, just the vehicle lying there at an angle, half in the snow, half on rock, silent and still. It didn't look recent, but it didn't look old either. We slowed instinctively, scanned the area, and kept moving. Up here, there's often no clear line between just happened and hours ago, and help doesn't arrive quickly in these conditions. The road didn't explain what went wrong, ice, speed, misjudgment, but it didn't really need to. It was a reminder written plainly into the landscape. This road doesn't forgive small mistakes. Some stretches were beautiful in a brutal way. Fresh snow glittering under harsh sun. Blue sky so clear it almost felt artificial. And then, without warning, ice, slush, and loose gravel all competing for traction at once. Water crossings were everywhere. Meltwater poured down the mountainsides, cutting straight across the road, carrying stones with it. You didn't stop for long. You didn't linger. You picked a line and committed. There's a particular sound tires make on wet ice. Muted, uncertain. You learn to recognize it quickly. This wasn't about speed, it was about patience. We broke the journey into 2 days because the mountains demanded it. By the time we stopped for the night, the cold had settled deep into our hands and shoulders. Faces burned from sun and wind. Everything felt earned. Every kilometer, every curve survived. That night, the silence was total. No traffic noise, no city hum, just wind moving across high ground and the knowledge that the next day would bring more of the same or worse. The second day began much the same way. Ice early, meltwater by mid-morning. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the landscape began to change. The snowbanks shrank. The air thickened. Colors returned. First hints of green, then whole slopes alive with it. The road softened too. Still rough, still unpredictable, but no longer hostile in the same way. You could feel yourself descending, not just in altitude, but in tension. The Himalayas loosened their grip gradually, like they were deciding you'd earned passage. As we dropped lower, traffic increased. Villages appeared again. Trees replaced rock. The sense of isolation faded, replaced by movement, sound, and warmth. At the next rest stop, the mood shifted. We met a young Japanese couple who had come up this far by bus rather than by car, taking the road a little more slowly, a little more cautiously. We ended up chatting for a while, where they'd started, where they were headed, how the road felt from the window instead of the driver's seat. Out here, even brief conversations feel closer than they normally would. Everyone on this road is sharing the same uncertainty, just in different ways. After a while, we said goodbye, wished each other safe travels, and set off again. The road opened up after that. Wide valleys, distant snow peaks, stretches where the tension eased, and the ride became simply beautiful. Moments like that stay with you. Not just the passes and the ice, but the people you meet along the way, all moving through the mountains together, each at their own pace.